Welcome, everybody. This is Edgardo, Balentine.
And this is DiGregorio. And welcome to the Real Estate of Tomorrow podcast, where we're going to discuss the rapidly changing landscape of the real estate industry.
And the steps that you need to take today in order to survive tomorrow.
Look, I'm going to give you the perspective of a 25-year veteran, somebody who has been there and done that.
With Jesus life for all part, okay?
That's for you, man.
Look, I'm going to give you a fresh perspective from somebody that's applying those steps today.
So that basically means you're young and you don't know shit.
All right. Let's get this started.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of the greatest podcast in the world, Real Estate of Tomorrow. I am one of your hosts, DiGregorio.
And Edgardo Balentine.
What is going on, Edgardo? Good to see you, brother.
What's up, my man?
Dude, we are, let's jump in about Facebook today, man. Look, Facebook has
it's
changed
WhatsApp.
my business.
Get it?
It's not funny. It's not funny, man. That must be a millennial joke. Look, the impact Facebook has had on the planet is astounding. We pulled up a couple of Facebook stats to share with everybody. Okay, just in the odd event that somebody doesn't believe us. Okay, Facebook, as of the end of the third quarter of 2018, all right, over a year ago, had 2.375 billion regular users.
Billion.
And even more astounding than that is they add 500,000 users a day worldwide.
That's impressive.
That's staggering. 62% of social media logins in the planet are logging into a Facebook product. And 22% of the time spent on the internet is spent on Facebook. Dude, 22%, like more than 1 out of 5 minutes on the planet spent on the internet is on Facebook.
Yeah,
like,
and 1 out of 5 minutes,
fuck?
and 1 out of 5 minutes spent on a mobile device is spent on a Facebook platform. That's including like texting and talking on the phone, and dude, that's insane. So Facebook dominates. Okay, Soggs is a beast.
Let's talk about the last statistic I pulled up, though, because I think this is pertinent to our business. Okay, 49% of users will like a page to help support a brand.
That's important for us.
So look, Facebook's where it's at. And what we're going to do today is we're going to break down how we use Facebook, okay? The paid stuff we do on Facebook, how we do lead capture, how we do brand building, how we manage our leads. And then at the end, we're going to leave off with 3 actionable steps that they can do to grow their business using Facebook starting tomorrow. Because this podcast is all about, we don't like talking about fluff and motivation. What are specific actionable things that you could do to grow your business in today's day and age? Because we need to do shit differently because the fintech companies are coming. The real estate environment is changing. You're either going to change with it or you're going to be left behind. Bro, let's talk about personal opinions, right? Like, oh, I don't like Facebook. Facebook's ruining America. Facebook's bad for children. Facebook's bad for society. It's bad for our politics, blah, blah, blah.
Who cares? Look, at the end of the day here, we want to get to people's attention, okay? We want to reach to as many people as we can. We want to be in their lives as much as we can. So, okay, you can have your righteous opinion and not sell any house and not be successful and live in a cave. That's fine. But if you want to be relevant, you have to put all of that aside and you have to live in the present. You have to get people's attention. Whatever you want to say about Socks, whatever you want to say about how he's influencing the elections or how he's taking this privacy and all that, the truth of the matter is that guy is the best at capturing people's attention. And if we can dominate in a platform that is trying to keep everybody within the platform, we're going to be successful. Because let's not be mistaken. The end goal of Facebook is to make sure that that when you talk about the internet, you're talking about Facebook, that when you go to the internet, you're staying within Facebook. That's why they're trying to keep you there with videos and with
groups,
entertainment and groups and everything that has to do with you being in the internet to being on Facebook. So the truth is, if you want to be relevant on anything, whether it is to bring social change, whether it is to educate, whether it is to sell, you need to be relevant on Facebook. If you're not relevant on Facebook, you're not getting to the people that you want to get to.
Yeah, and look, we can't be romantic about the past. Go back, if you don't believe us, go back and look at major companies that existed in America around the time that things were switching from radio to television. Lots and lots of companies were romantic about radio. This is what got us here. This has always worked. We dominate. We mastered. We got it all worked out. And that was a really solid dialogue until their asses went out of business. Now, if you're listening to us and you're going to retire in the next 5 years,
Stop listening.
Stop listening. All right. That is not, I got to be honest. If I was 3 years away from my retirement, I'd ride that ship out and not bother with it. Okay. But for everybody else that really wants to make a go of this, if you don't make the changes, you will be retiring, at least from this career, in 5 years.
I don't care how successful you are today. Trust me. I mean, look at the statistics, right? You need to talk to the masses, and the masses are on Facebook. So let's put all the personal stuff aside. If you don't agree with the fact that you got to be on Facebook, just stop listening. This is not for you.
Okay, so let's talk about the first way to utilize Facebook, and that's with paid ads. Okay, and with paid ads, there's two kinds. Okay, and we run both. I run 80-90% of my stuff for brand building. Okay, whereas I'm pushing out selfless content, educational videos, answering questions that I'm asked all the time, helping with tips, giving insider secrets, all the little tidbits and nuances I've learned. And by the way, not all of it's mortgage related. I talk about student loans. I talk about debt. I talk about household budgets. I talk about saving for retirement. I just give education on subject matter that I'm an expert in, which includes real estate and many other areas of personal finance.
Okay, so what matters here is the intention. Okay, if you're trying to build a brand, pretty much where you're trying to be, and you hear Gary Vee says, you're trying to be the mayor of your city. You're trying to be, Barry Habib, which we follow too, says, become famous, right? So when we're talking about brand building, the messaging, it cannot be a salesy message, right? We're all salespeople. Right. At the end of the day, we want to sell houses. I understand that. But the message have to come from the point of view of, I'm going to teach you something. I'm going to become vulnerable. I'm going to talk about something that's important in this community. It doesn't necessarily have to be all the time educational. It can also be something that's pertinent to this community right now, something that's happening.
Yeah. Look, and it could be as simple as interviewing owners of new restaurants, interviewing school principals, interviewing high school sports team coaches, like whatever it is pertinent. I mean, there's areas of the country that high school sports, I mean, even where we live, like the Fort Myers High football team is a big deal. Like the alumni there is insane.
We're talking about something that's happening, right? I mean, a couple of years ago, the Hertz headquarters came in. That's something that boosts the economy here. That's something that changes things. Even if you're not 100% sure of what's going to happen here, it's something that's definitely going to change the dynamic of the community. So for you to talk about that, it's important, guys. So that, again, that's brand building. And I go back to the fact that the intention matters a lot, because the intention, it's going to come across in the messaging. Okay. So what we do as financial advisors, right, of sorts, we're not financial advisors, but as mortgage people, we're in finances. We talk a lot about things that are financial. We talk about educating people throughout finances that they don't teach them in school. Again, I say this all the time. HGTV and Zillow has made real estate a sexy topic. Everybody wants to know what's an addition that they can put in their house that's going to make a difference. Everybody wants to know what's the real value of their house. Everybody wants to know what's happening in this particular community and how the prices are going to go up or going to go down. Take advantage of that. Talk about that. Make commentaries on what's happening. So again, this is about brand building. This is about throwing a lot of content out there. Give me content that's educating me, that's entertaining me, but please don't sell me.
And three other areas, and I'll just list them and then we'll get into them for a little bit in each one that I want to talk about. One of them is testimonials. The other one is groups. And the last one is Facebook Live. So let's talk about the testimonials first.
Humble brag.
Yeah. I mean, I have lots of testimonials online. By the way, having an online reputation strategy is critical in today's day and age. We got to understand that 10 years ago, if one of your past clients is at an office party and they hand out your business card, that person goes home and calls you. But let me ask you a question. Today, when they receive that business card and they go home, before they call you, what do? They Google you. So an online reputation strategy is not a nice thing to have or a good thing to have. It's absolutely mandatory to have. So you could take these testimonials, turn them into videos, and turn them into posts and put them out there and leverage that in a big, big way. And please, for crying out loud, tag the person who sent you the post or who sent you the testimonial in the post. So that's the first thing. Why don't you talk about groups and then we'll both talk about Facebook Live because we do a lot of that work together.
Look, groups are great because there's two ways to utilize groups. One is to, for lack of a better word, to infiltrate groups that are full of people that you want to target. For example, if you're in real estate, you want to maybe get into a group of people that are moving into the community or people that are talking about what's happening in the community during that weekend. Because, that's going to make you knowledgeable about the area where you're in. That's going to give you an opportunity to connect with people on something different than real estate, but to connect with people of somebody that's a source of information on what's happening in this community. And obviously, if you know about the school system here, if you know about what events are happening, if you know about open houses, if you want to be more real estate related, well, people are going to gravitate to you. They're going to ask you questions and it's going to give you the ability to connect with more people, even if they're not your friends. So the groups enable you to connect with a lot of people that are not your friends, but because they're in that same group and you share that same common goal or that same common whatever it is, you can connect with them, talk to them, engage with them, and
Yeah, and let's think about it too from an algorithm standpoint, okay? As we're sitting here in 2019, Facebook is highly focused on promoting groups. Every single 100% of Facebook TV commercials you see and all their advertisements are all about groups. So what you need to take from that is that if you create a group, Facebook will, because they're trying to promote this, skew the algorithm in your favor to try to get that group in front of as many like-minded people as possible. And by the way,
that's the second part, creating a group.
Right. I was just going to say, and in creating a group, it doesn't have to be business related. I love shooting pool. I love building furniture.
I love baseball.
Yeah. I mean, none of these things have anything to do with what we do for a living, but
that's with daughters.
Yeah. But I mean, you laugh, but I mean, it's really true. I mean, I sat down with that woman not that long ago that came to me from a mom's group on Facebook. And she said, hey, I have some mortgage related questions. 5 different people gave her my name. By the way, I don't know who any of those 5 people are. So you can join groups of your interest. You could also create groups of your interest. And all of a sudden, look, people like to do business with other people that they know, like, and trust. And groups is a great way of doing that. And
that they can relate to.
Of course.
So if you're already starting not only the conversation, but you're starting a relationship with something that you have in common, enough that you're part of a group and enough that you want to comment on something that you have in common, it's a lot easier to then, take the conversation somewhere else. So Facebook groups, be part of as many Facebook groups as you can. Obviously, be genuine about it, right? Join Facebook groups of things that you care about. And look, when you go in the world of Facebook, and that's why we started with the statistics, there's so many people on Facebook that you can find groups on anything. I mean, anything. If you're a fan of the Ninja Turtles, you can find a group on the Ninja Turtles. And hey, Ninja Turtles fans need to buy homes too.
I mean, I guess. All right. And then Facebook Lives.
Look, Facebook Lives are, again, going back to the algorithm, Facebook is really trying to push Facebook Lives right now. And it's something that extremely relevant right now. So when you do a Facebook Live, Facebook is going to try to bring it up to everybody else's feed. So that's one thing. The other thing too is that even if you're not getting a lot of views on your Facebook Live, what happens when you start a live is that everybody that's following your page or everybody that's a friend of yours is going to get a notification that says, hey, Edgardo or Scott is starting a live. Why don't you join them? So even if somebody doesn't really join and watches your live, they're getting a reminder that you are part of their friends list, that you are doing real estate. If you're doing it through your Facebook business page, they're going to get a reminder that, Scott DiGregorio Realtor, it's getting a new Facebook Live. So look, it's something that right now in 2019, in 2020, if you're not taking advantage of Facebook Live, you're missing out big time.
Yeah. So look, on the brand building side, we have testimonials educational content, things about the community, passions of your life. Be a part of Facebook groups, be a part of Facebook Live. Let's transition from brand building to lead capture.
Okay. So when we're talking about lead capture, I think we need to talk about paid advertisement.
Right.
Okay. Because, and look, if you're just starting here, this is the first time that you're going to start working on Facebook and on social media, trust me, this is the best dollars that you're going to spend, because two things are going to happen. Either you're going to be very successful and you're going to capture leads that are extremely, extremely cheap in comparison to other traditional media, or you're going to fail miserably and you're going to start learning. And this is the best way to learn, is to try and to start split testing and to see what works and what doesn't. And it's a lot better to fail in this medium because it's a lot cheaper than to fail when you do a TV advertisement or something like that. Plus, it gives you a lot of exposure, and the metrics that it gives you are amazing.
And let's talk about why it's so much cheaper, because a paid advertisement on something like Facebook has a very unique feature, and that is the ability to turn the damn thing off. You could start an ad and say, hey, I'm going to spend $10 a day for 15 days on this ad. 4 days in, by the way, always go more. The first 2 days, it's kind of learning. So always give it like 3, 4, 5 days. But 4 days in, you could think to yourself, hey, this ad sucks. Turn it off. And instead of spending $150 on that lesson, you've spent $40. I'm pretty sure if you take out a TV commercial, you can't call them up 6 weeks in and go, hey, my phone's not ringing. Can you refund my money? And that is huge.
And you can't spend 40 either. Just a couple things, just based on experience. Like he said, give it a couple of days, 8 to 10 days before you pull the plug. And the other thing is, it's better if you spend $10 a day and give it a full 8 days rather than just putting $2 a day. You gotta give the algorithm and you gotta give Facebook a chance to give you, to bring you views. A couple of things about the algorithm. Number one, Facebook is in your corner. Okay. They want you to succeed because they want you to spend money. Number two, they want you to get to people that you want to get to. And that's one of the biggest things when it comes to Facebook. You can be very, very, very specific in your targeting. And that's something that you don't get on TV, you don't get on radio. When you buy radio advertisement or when you buy TV advertisement, everybody's going to get it. But when it comes to Facebook, you can say, hey, I want to target people that bought a car in the past 6 months and that live in this particular county and that make X amount of money and that are, you can be extremely
and that
targeted.
Have visited your town at least twice in the last year.
Or that have seen your video up to the second minute, the second minute or the last minute, whatever it is. So you can really, really aim to that perfect client that you want to get.
Let's talk about content now. Okay. So the very first direction I went into with paid Facebook lead capture was downloading reports. I wrote an educational report on the 5 biggest mistakes home buyers make. And I said, hey, if you're interested, click the button below and you could download the report. They had to give me their name, their phone number, and their email. So report downloads is one. The other piece of it is anything of secret info. Okay. Do you have listings that are about to come online? Do you have a list of foreclosures? Do you have a list of homes eligible for no money down? Do you have a list of condominiums that are VA approved? Do you have a list of whatever?
And look, and don't overthink the word secret. Things that are not super easily accessible for the regular consumer that's just looking at Zillow. Okay. So like he says, maybe a list of foreclosures is not necessarily something that's secretive, but it's something that's not readily accessible for people. Those are things that a lot of people are gonna go to. Another thing that has been very successful for us is just simply putting an ad on home values, right? Sure. I want to know what my home is worth. And those are people that are probably gonna wanna, or at least are gonna be interested in selling a house, or that know somebody that wants to sell a house, or simply looking for pocket listings and listings that are not here yet. Just home search, home values. Those are things that bring a lot of people in and that you can capture their information. Now, the other thing is, how do we capture information here?
I was just going to say that. So let's talk about that. There's a couple ways of doing it. I mean, Facebook has a lead capture form that frankly does a hell of a job.
See, we've had different results on this. You have a lot of success with the Facebook capture information. And look, why don't you talk about it?
So look, when we started this whole thing, we started using ClickFunnels. Okay,
Well, let's talk about ClickFunnels then, because I use funnels.
Right, but so we started off using ClickFunnels, and I'll let you kind of break that down for everybody. But and a ClickFunnel is, look, think old school sales. Okay, you kind of get the head bobbing up and down. It asks you a series of questions, takes you through it. We've all gone through those. But at one point, just as an experimentation piece, I decided to go right into a Facebook lead capture. And the benefit of Facebook lead capture is that it automatically captures the information from their profile.
So as a consumer, from the consumer end, you click on whatever the bait is,
whatever
right?
the button is.
And then as soon as I click, the information is already my information,
Yes.
my personal information, which is on Facebook, it's already populated.
Yes. So the advantage of that is good information.
Right.
Everything in life has pros and cons. The disadvantage of that is sometimes people don't realize they gave you their information.
Correct.
So you get some of the calls of, who the hell is this? What are you calling me for? Blah, blah, blah. Which is fine.
There. I didn't do anything else.
Which is fine. The other side of it is not doing that. You might have the email address of minnie@minniemouse.com, or some, very colorful ones we've received before.
Which is the end that I've gotten with the funnels. What I do is the funnels, which is a series of questionings, like you say. And, the negative with that is that it involves the client has to do, or the consumer has to do a little bit more work because they need to answer some information. But typically, once they're done, they know that they were asking for information. So by the time I contact them, either the number is fake, which is the downside of it. But when the number is not fake, well, they're more interested in actually, talking to me.
Right, fewer leads, higher quality. And look, I hope if you're listening to this, you're seeing a very important thing, which is there is no right answer. The right answer is to keep trying to innovate, keep trying to experiment, and just see what works. There's just no magic formula with this other than diving in. And if you dive in, it'll work.
And the funny thing with this is we've tried the same exact ad with the same exact wording, but because who knows what, his algorithm, because maybe the fact that his profile shows a different name, he attracts different people than I attract. And we end up getting success with different landing pages. So it's interesting. Just that's what I mean by, if you're doing paid advertisement, don't be afraid. Just commit $50, commit $100, spend them, because the worst thing that you can do is be successful. And if you fail, you're going to learn.
You're going to learn. And failing is part of the process, right? Like, Walt Disney didn't sell Mickey Mouse to the first person he spoke to, and on and on. We all know those stories. So you gotta dive into it and just jump on. Now, okay, so great. So leads are coming in. We're building up brand, right? And what I tell people is this: lead capture is probably going to pay bills in the next quarter. Brand building is going to pay bills in the next year or two. One thing I could tell everybody, without question, the leads I get from my brand building stuff, my just pure selfless content that I put out there, is heads and shoulders above everything else. Now, it took probably 6 or 9 months before I started getting business from that. And it would have been real easy for me to throw in the towel, but I know better, right? Anybody doing this, you got to give yourself a year of literally doing it diligently, to be able to test it and constantly changing and experimenting. And so then leads start coming in. And here's another thing. We got to understand the mindset of these leads, okay? These leads are not ready to get in your car. These leads are not ready to give me their social security number to qualify. These leads are in what we call the education phase. They're not in the selection phase. They're just getting educated. So you got to go at these leads with the mindset of, hey, what questions do you have? Here's some information to help you figure that out.
Well, and come on, we're not selling a watch here. Okay.
Right.
This is something that a lot of people research. This is something that a lot of people take months and sometimes years to pull the trigger. So we need to be very mindful of that. And we're in a unique position that we interact with a lot of clients. We get the same questions over and over again. And if you think about it, you can create a page, you can create, and I'm talking about a Facebook page or a group with very pertinent information, because if you really do the exercise, and you said it in one of the podcasts, of writing down every single question that you get from clients, after a couple of clients, after 10, 5, whatever the sample is, they're very repetitive.
Yeah.
People have the same questions over and over again, and they have the same questions, and you can change it by, okay, first-time home buyers have these sets of questions, repeat buyers have these sets of questions, people that are looking for retirements, people that are looking for to buy some that they live up north and they try to retire here in Florida have these sets of questions. And once you build those questions, start answering those questions on Facebook.
Yeah.
And you will build great content for people to not only find you with the marketing pieces that you're doing, with the funnels that you're doing, but also once they find you, stay in your page and start engaging with you.
Look, every client question asked of you is a piece of content. Every client scenario is a piece of content. Every obstacle you overcome is a piece of content. Once you start doing this, you realize that content is literally everywhere. But then we have a problem because, now you're generating 15, 20, 30, 40, 50 leads a week.
Before we move on, look, if I ask 100 realtors if they're salespeople or they're advisors, 100 of them are going to tell me that they're advisors. Are you though? It's your content, is what you're telling your clients. Are you advising them or are you just selling them? And the best way to portray, the best way to show that you're an advisor is by content. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, all right. So now these leads are coming in, and I know with me, man, I got a lot of loans coming in. I'm busy in my career. I got, 3 teenagers at home and
realtors calling.
Yeah. Realtors call. Like I got a lot going on. So now all these leads coming in, and at first it wasn't making any money. I mean, now I have staff that is dedicated to managing these leads for me. But at the beginning, I didn't have the time and it wasn't yet generating the money. So let's talk about how to overcome that dilemma. And the first one is, and the easiest one is virtual assistants. There are websites out there. The one I use generally is called Fiverr, Fiverr. Fiverr.com is a database of virtual assistants. I hired a virtual assistant out of Manila. I paid him like $10 an hour. His English was spotless. His salesmanship, his salesmanship skills was spot on. The guy was good. And all he did was nurtured the leads and then eventually set up appointments for me when they were ready.
God, but that's so expensive.
Yeah, but it really wasn't, because I was spending about $30 a week on it.
And can you turn it off if you want to?
You could turn it off whenever you want. I mean, in fact, I just brought him down. I mean, at one point I was spending close to $1,500 a month with him. I've just brought it down to about $800 a month because, again, I hired somebody to handle that. It's something you could turn on or turn off or turn up or turn down whenever you want.
And look, I'm a millennial. I'm much younger than you are, thank God. But
just means I'm wiser.
Don't make the mistake of just hiring somebody that looks young because you think that they know how to use these technologies for a business. Because it's very, very different to use this technology to get laid than to run a business. So it's a lot better to hire a virtual assistant than just to hire your niece.
Yes.
Because she's 16 and you think she's going to do great. The other thing, and I would even look into this before you look at a virtual assistant, is CRMs. We use a CRM called Agent Legend. It's been amazing for us. It's a short-term CRM. I don't know if that's the right way to describe it, but it's something that is going to send automated text messages, video emails, ringless voicemails, and it's going to take care of that front end as soon as you get that lead, as if it were you, because it's your text, it's your voice, it's your video. And then once that person replies, then you can jump in and pick up the phone and actually call them.
We'll leave you a link below in the show notes on that. It's a couple of $100 a month, and it's just, man, that thing is worth its weight in gold.
Yeah.
I mean,
so CRMs, like a short-term CRM as well. We have both. We have a long-term CRM that we use for everything else. We use Salesforce. And then we have Agent Legend. So we talk CRMs, we talk VAs. And look, we can get very, very specific, and we'll do a whole episode on this. We can use chatbots for this.
And custom friends lists. And we've talked about that in another episode. But you could take all these people, put them in custom friends list, and stay in touch with them that way. Another thing you could do very, very easily on Facebook, which is amazing, is you could put together an audience of anybody who's ever interacted with your content before. Okay,
Yeah.
so one of the strategies I use, we talked before that we often record videos in the form of a series. So if I have a 9-part series on how to get started investing in real estate and somebody watches video 2, I can then retarget those people with the other 8 videos in the series. And then I could retarget the people that watch the majority of those and retarget them further. And you could, Facebook collects all this data and it's right there at your fingertips. It's rather amazing.
Guys, Facebook is in your corner. Like I'm saying, Facebook doesn't want to give people content that they don't want to engage with. So let the algorithm work, because Facebook wants people to see your content, people that are interested in watching your content to watch your content. So it's really your best friend. Custom friend list you got to do. The other thing that we didn't talk about is marketplace. The marketplace part of Facebook.
Marketplace is big now, man.
If you're selling
They're
a
trying
house,
to take over Craigslist.
yeah, if you're selling a house, if you're doing listing, marketplace is big. And like he's saying, look, the main goal of Facebook is for you to never have to leave Facebook. They want you to get entertained there. They want you to sell things. The last thing that they came out with was a dating.
Yep.
Was a dating app.
The currency thing, the messenger now to text one another. Like they want you to just live in that platform. And based on those
They have
stats,
stories now.
they're winning.
They are.
All right. So look, let's give everybody, we promised everybody.
VR now. Come on.
Oculus Quest wins. Look, let's talk about 3 easy actionable steps that people could do right away. The first thing I want to talk about is an engagement post. Now let me break this down. One of the things with Facebook, being that Facebook is very mature right now, look, years and years ago, when you got onto Facebook, if you had 800 friends and you posted something, 800 friends would see it. Nowadays, if you have 800 friends and you post something, 8 friends might see it, or 16 or 12 or whatever the number is. So why is that? And that's because Facebook's algorithm now will only put your content in front of people that interact with your content. And dude, it's funny. Like I'll go through stages with my wife where she won't see my stuff, or I won't see her stuff if we're not clicking on each other's things. Like it's So in order to kind of trick the algorithm is to have an engagement post. An engagement post is a post that you could put out there that answers a question that people want, or asks a question that people want to answer. So
and it has to be a very easy question to answer, like a one-liner.
Yeah. How old were you when you bought your first house?
One of the ones that we use a lot is, or that we've used before, is what was the interest rate on your first home?
Yes. What was the purchase price on your first home? How many homes have you owned? What is the thing you're most proud of this year? If you could give your younger self one bit of advice, what would it be?
Now, the most important thing with this is make sure that you comment on every single answer. Comment. This is not a time to just put a thumbs up and hit a like. You have to comment, because the idea is for you to engage back with your audience. And it's crazy. Gary Vee talks about this all the time. We complain a lot. Oh, we don't have 1 million views, blah, blah, blah. But the 2 or 3 people that are watching your content and that are actually commenting on your content, you're not commenting back to them. You're not carrying on the conversation.
And you have to look at those as leads almost. So, I mean, so look, the engagement post is a big thing. The next thing, put together an educational video.
Don't get too fancy. It doesn't have to be an hour. Please don't make it long. Anywhere from 30 seconds to 3 minutes. I want to throw another one out there with the educational video. Do the educational video and then make a Facebook story about that educational video. Just saying, if you do an educational video on the top staging tips to sell a house, make sure that you do a Facebook story, 15 seconds, saying, hey, I just dropped a video on the top 5 tips on staging to sell a house properly.
Click here to watch.
Click here to watch. Yeah.
Okay. And then the next thing I want you to do is to get educated. Okay. It's funny. We don't have the length of time on this platform to get into like really detailed how-tos, but dude, there's this amazing thing out there.
Everybody get ready.
I'm going to spell it like just so you can write it down.
Grab your pen, stop the car.
OOGLE.
And if you don't like to read,
YouTube. Look, grab 20 minutes. Okay. The third action step is for you to grab 20 minutes and read an article. I'm a YouTube guy. I like watching videos. So watch a video on how to advertise on Facebook. And it's simple. If you do a YouTube search and how to advertise on Facebook, and there's a video with 1.8 million views and it has a 4.8 rating, it's probably pretty good. To encourage everybody, when I started this journey, okay, a year and a half ago, whatever it is, the first video I watched, I did not understand the vocabulary they were using. I kept having to stop the video to Google what the damn words mean because I had no idea what cost per click conversion ratios were and those types of things. But please, look, when you came into this world, you didn't know how to drive a car. Yet I guarantee you didn't have to concentrate driving to work today. So start the journey, okay, and watch an educational post or a video or post or blog or whatever on how to advertise on Facebook for real estate or whatever. It's just not very complicated.
Guys, look, at the end of the day, this is where attention is. To sell houses, to get noticed, to sell anything, you got to get attention first. Please don't underestimate the platform because it wasn't meant to be a business tool. Remember, Amazon was just supposed to sell books. Okay? So get on Facebook, become a practitioner on this, study this. It's going to make a big impact in your business. And trust me, they're not going to go anywhere. And if you think that they are, if you're a little bit more advanced and you say, hey, Facebook is not where it's at, look, Facebook owns Instagram. Facebook tried to buy Snapchat. Snapchat said no. And then they went ahead and build the stories and pretty much eclipse Snapchat. For all my international peeps, Facebook owns WhatsApp. And, if you're not from America and you have family abroad, you use WhatsApp to talk to people. My point is, guys, time spent on Facebook, as long as you are responsible, disciplined, and you use it not to hang out with your friends or to talk to your friends, but you use it to study and you use it as a business tool, it's going to be very, very profitable for you.
So look, let me ask you a question, everybody listening today. Are you doing what you need to do today to dominate real estate of tomorrow? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching or for listening and watching.
Like us on Facebook.
Like us. Smash that subscribe button so you get all of our future episodes. Please, please, please share this podcast with all of your friends and colleagues because this is the best freaking real estate podcast out there, and we know it, and so do you.
Peace. Well, thank you guys for listening. And now it's your turn to implement everything you learned today.
Look, you have a question, you have a topic for a future episode?
Share with us.
Yeah, tell us what you're doing. What are you doing today so you could be successful tomorrow? Send us an email at success@realestateoftomorrow.com.
And don't forget to leave us a review, an honest review.
Screw an honest review. Leave us a 5-star review. And for every 5-star review we get, we're going to send you a badass real estate meme t-shirt.
Those shirts are hilarious.
See ya.